What if the face you see on your screen today has already existed hundreds of years ago? Not in theory, but in paintings, sculptures, and photographs from history. In this video, we're diving into 10 celebrities who look almost identical to people from the past. Some of these matches are subtle. Others are so accurate they feel almost impossible to ignore. Let's take a look. 1. Keanu Reeves versus ancient Roman statue. Starting strong with one of the most talked about comparisons. Keanu Reeves has often been compared to ancient Roman statues found in museums. The resemblance isn't just surface level, it's in the details. The strong jawline, the balanced symmetry, and especially that calm, almost emotionless expression. Roman sculptures were designed to capture timeless strength and composure, and Keanu seems to carry that same presence naturally. It's the kind of face that doesn't feel tied to one era. It feels permanent. 2. Henry Cavill versus medieval knight illustration. Next, Henry Cavill looks like he stepped straight out of a medieval manuscript. Old illustrations of knights often show a strong chin, focused eyes, and a serious, noble expression, and Cavill matches that almost perfectly. It's not just about facial structure. There's something in the posture, the presence, that aligns with how knights were imagined, disciplined, powerful, and composed. It's easy to picture him not just acting in historical roles, but actually belonging to that time. 3. Chris Hemsworth versus Viking Age sculpture. Chris Hemsworth's resemblance to Viking carvings is hard to ignore. The broad face, the sharp nose, and the intense eyes match sculptures believed to represent Norse warriors. Viking imagery often emphasized strength and resilience, and Hemsworth carries that same rugged energy. It's the kind of look that feels built for survival, for harsh climates, and for a culture centered around power and endurance. 4. Gal Gadot versus ancient Greek statue. Gal Gadot has features that align closely with classical Greek sculptures. These statues were known for their ideal proportions, symmetry, balance, and harmony. Gadot's face reflects those same qualities: clean lines, defined structure, and a natural elegance. Greek artists aimed to create perfection in human form, and her resemblance to those statues makes it feel like that ideal somehow carried forward through time. 5. Beyoncé versus Egyptian fresco figure. Beyoncé's resemblance to figures in ancient Egyptian art is striking. The symmetry of her face, the strong gaze, and the defined features all mirror the way Egyptian artists depicted royalty and power. In frescoes and tomb paintings, figures were often shown with confidence and presence, and Beyoncé reflects that same energy. It's not just about appearance. It's about how that appearance communicates authority and elegance. 6. Zendaya versus ancient Egyptian queen. Zendaya appears again on this list, and for good reason. Her profile, especially from the side, closely resembles depictions of ancient Egyptian queens. The smooth lines of her face, the symmetry, and the poise all match historical representations of royalty. Egyptian art often focused on clarity and structure, and Zendaya's features align with that aesthetic almost perfectly. It's the kind of resemblance that feels less like coincidence and more like a visual echo. 7. Scarlett Johansson versus Renaissance lady. Scarlett Johansson's features closely resemble women seen in Renaissance paintings. Her soft eyes, balanced proportions, and calm, composed expression reflect the qualities artists of that era valued most. Renaissance painters focused on blending realism with ideal beauty, capturing faces that felt both natural and timeless. Johansson's look fits effortlessly into that tradition with a subtle elegance that feels almost painterly. It's easy to imagine her face framed in oil paint, surrounded by muted tones and classical settings. The resemblance goes beyond appearance. It carries the same quiet grace and stillness that defined Renaissance portraiture. 8. Brad Pitt versus 19th century dandy painting. Brad Pitt has often been compared to portraits of 19th century gentlemen, particularly the dandy archetype. These were men who paid careful attention to style, presentation, and detail. They were known for their confidence, refined manners, and composed appearance, often captured in paintings with a calm, self-assured expression. Pitt's look fits seamlessly into that image. His facial structure, defined jawline, balanced proportions, and relaxed gaze closely mirrors the men seen in those portraits. There's a natural elegance in the way his features come together, creating a presence that feels polished without appearing forced. Even his expressions carry a quiet confidence, similar to how dandies were portrayed, controlled, thoughtful, and aware of their image. What makes this resemblance stand out is how effortlessly it translates across time. Without changing anything, Pitt could easily blend into a 19th century setting and feel completely authentic. It's not just about appearance, it's about attitude and presence. Emma Stone versus silent film era star. Emma Stone looks like she could belong in the silent film era. There's something about her face that feels perfectly suited for a time when actors had to rely entirely on expression rather than words. Her eyes are especially striking. Wide, clear, and highly expressive, capable of conveying emotion with just a glance. There's a certain clarity in her expressions that makes them easy to read, almost as if they were designed for black and white film. This resemblance isn't just about looks, it's about presence. Emma Stone embodies a style of visual storytelling that defined early Hollywood. It creates a connection between modern acting and a time when faces alone carried entire narratives, making her feel like a natural extension of cinema's earliest stars. 10. Timothée Chalamet versus 1800's male portrait. Finally, Timothée Chalamet's resemblance to 19th century portraits is one of the most fascinating. His slim face, delicate features, and thoughtful expression match paintings of poets, writers, and intellectuals from the 1800s. There's a softness and depth in his appearance that aligns with how artists portrayed thinkers of that era. It's less about strength and more about introspection, and that's exactly what makes the match so compelling. Conclusion: these comparisons aren't about coincidence alone. Human faces follow patterns, symmetry, bone structure, proportion, and those patterns can repeat across time. Artists from centuries ago captured real people, real expressions, real features, and sometimes those same features appear again in someone living today. What makes this fascinating isn't just the resemblance. It's the feeling that history doesn't disappear. It echoes. Through art, through genetics, through the way faces are shaped and remembered, the past finds subtle ways to reappear in the present. Some of these matches feel logical. Others feel almost impossible. But all of them remind us of one simple idea. Faces change. Time moves forward. But sometimes, it looks like history is quietly repeating itself.